We were asked to produce a response to this document. My company is a research and consulting company. One of the organizations that we run is a global network of academics and business leaders and IT industry leaders and writers and so on. We were asked to go and address these points to them and get a response. And what we've done is we've collated those responses and made that available as a document that will be available for you later this week. And I just want to address, I don't want to talk about technology at all, because over the period between now and 2025, we have no idea what technology will do or what it'll look like. But I do want to talk about the economic effect of that technology, and therefore what that means from a policy perspective. First of all, it's a well-known saying that we tend to overestimate the effect of technology in the short term. We tend to underestimate it in the long term. Secondly, I'd say, and this is a straight claim, by 2025, a significantly higher proportion of the growth and value created in Europe will come from the application of ICT. And I'm going to justify both those statements now. If you think about what technology has done in the last 30 years, most technology has been aimed at making us more efficient, from automation through information availability, for streamlining industries, for streamlining business processes, taking cost out of what we do. What it's done is it's destroyed a lot of what used to be called value add, and what we now know is just cost. What comes next is the exploitation by technology of new value, the creation of new value. We don't know what all that new value is yet. Some of that new value certainly is coming out of what the internet has enabled, of what interaction enables. So if you look at the data concentrations in companies like Google and Amazon and eBay and Facebook, of knowing not just about individuals, but what they like, what they do, all the personal information about them, how they interact, what they want, who they influence. That has huge commercial value for the future. And if we don't grasp the opportunities that that's going to give us in Europe, then we risk the momentum of change going elsewhere, outside Europe. Because the key feature of technology application today, of the internet, the digital society, is one of lightning-fast innovation. Thousands, hundreds of thousands of individuals and small companies innovating. One of the people in our response is quoted as saying, there's a lot of talk about intellectual property, and it's a very important subject area to get clear. But in many cases today, while you're worrying about protecting your intellectual property, somebody else has already invented a better way of doing it. That lightning-fast innovation is critical. What that means is that the job of public policy primarily is to create the environment in which it can flourish. Not to do the innovation, but to create the environment and then let others innovate. And what that leads us to is essentially, there's a number of different points in the response document you'd see, but I just wanted to pick out 5 as critical. First of all, and it will echo one or two of the things that have already been said. First of all, digital infrastructure. A renewed digital infrastructure across the whole of Europe, not just in individual certain countries, is critical. And not just the digital infrastructure that can handle what we think we need today. Because the speed of advancement of what people use the internet for, of what organizations use the internet for, is rapidly changing. We're getting rich communication sources, video, all sorts of other ways of using it, which is hugely increasing the requirement for bandwidth. It's not enough to plan today for 10 years hence to have a certain bandwidth. You have to plan to be flexible and upgradable. So infrastructure is key. The second issue is data governance. The frameworks for understanding data, not just personal data, but all data. So we talk about different technologies appearing in terms of cloud. You may have heard these terms, cloud technology. The question is, do you know where your data is? Anything, any part of your data. Not just your medical records or your credit card records, but data about what you did, where you went, who you saw, who you met with, what you've sent in emails. Do you know where that is? Do you know who owns it? Do you know who controls it? You have no idea. Which leads on to the third point, and absolutely critical, the protection and management of identity and privacy, the creation of a trust environment without which none of this will happen properly, and more importantly, it will lead us wide open to manipulation, misuse, and criminal activity. It is the job of governments to create those trust frameworks and to enforce them. Fourthly, the creation of an innovation-friendly environment. And by that, I don't want to be over-political about it. By that, I mean a regulatory environment, an intellectual property environment, a business environment, employment, social rules, which is going to allow business to flourish. Today, small and medium enterprises make up about 60 to 65% of the economy of Europe. By 2025, that will be much higher, 75, possibly 80%. And the reason for that is new value creation. We must allow those businesses to grow. If they don't, they can go somewhere else. They can set up elsewhere in a heartbeat. And lastly, a point about education and social policies. One of the things the report talked about is mass collaboration, everybody collaborating. The problem with mass collaboration, wall to wall, end to end, everybody, is it simply won't happen for everybody, because we have a huge diversity of behavior, of age, of technical knowledge, of knowledge about how to do things, different experiences, different industries, different jobs. There will be a massive variety, and there is a big, big danger as we accelerate digital uptake, digitization of the way we live, that we leave people behind. So that last issue is critical for governments. And I'll just make one last point, and to echo one of the things that Peter Linton said to start off with. If this form of thinking is not applied in every part of policy, of long-term planning policy, then it will be a case of failure. It's not an extra, it's not an additional, it's not an add-on, it's not even a policy area in itself. It must be part of the thinking across every policy area, or you won't get integration, you won't get a joined-up approach, and we won't create a Europe in which we can thrive. Thank you.